Hello, my lovelies. Hello. I hope you're all having a jolly good week. We're having a lovely week here. We're having some lovely weather, some thundery weather. It's supposed to rain all day today, but the sun's come out. So, who knows? Who knows? But anyway, it's lovely. It's the end of August. It's still hot. So, anywho, this week is an interesting one. So they say, whoever they are, they say that it's good for you to do things that scare you every now and again. I don't know if that's true or not. Anywho, this week I'm doing something that quite frankly terrifies me. I'm going to make myself a pair of jeans. I know. Now, I don't often wear jeans, so you might be asking, Liz, why are you making yourself a pair of jeans? You don't wear jeans. However, I don't wear jeans because in my whole life, I've never found a pair of jeans that I'm comfortable in. I don't like the fit. I don't like, I'm a short, curvy person. And modern fashion, fashion in general, is not really set up for short, curvy people. It's set up for tall, willowy people. So I've always really struggled to find jeans that I like. I'm a short, curvy person, but with kind of average length legs. My body's very short, but my legs are fairly average. So petite's not quite right either. So yeah, it's a conundrum. At the moment, I own 2 pairs of jeans. One is a pair that was too small for Stuart, however they are too big for me, and another is a pair that is too small for me that I bought off Vinted and was never quite right and is never fitted me. So as a result, I don't wear jeans. I have very, very occasionally worn the pair that are too big for me, but I don't like the look of them on my body. So I've decided I'm going to make a vintage style pair of jeans because I am, you know me, I tend towards the vintage look anyway. So I thought maybe that fit would be a lot more comfortable on me. So I've been looking for months on Etsy, on various pattern websites to get a pattern that I really like. And then I remembered that I already had one. So a few years ago, I made myself the World War II overalls from Wearing History. I'll put up some photos of both the pattern and me wearing them, and I will definitely link the pattern in the description because it's a smashing pattern. It's really easy to use. I really like Wearing History's patterns. They're very, very easy to use. They give good instructions, good patterns. Thank you, Wearing History. So the pattern that I have, I've a few years ago used a pair of old curtains to make a wearable mock-up, and then never made anything but the wearable mock-up because they were very wearable and I love them. I lied. I also made these out of suit fabric. I forgot completely. And they're actually, that fabric is actually thicker than the denim that I've chosen. So this should be okay. In theory, this should be easier because it's a lighter weight denim than that fabric was. So in theory, this should actually be easier. And the pattern also has an option for having it as trousers. I have made it as trousers in my linen trousers, which I'll also try and put a photo here. But I had adapted the pattern when I made the overalls. And when I made the linen trousers, I used the original pattern that I hadn't adapted because I'd forgotten I'd done that, so that they're a bit big, but that's fine. I've also used the top of the overalls to make pinafore. I think I've done that twice actually. Have I used the top of that twice? I can't remember. Anyway, pinafore. So it's a really versatile pattern and I love it. So I think I'm going to use that to make the jeans. In fact, I know I'm going to use that to make the jeans because I've already cut them out. So over the last couple of days, I have been cutting out the jeans. It's quite a dark denim. But a dark but very blue denim. I like a very blue denim. So I'm really happy with the colour denim. I bought 3 meters of it off of Vinted, so second hand. I've washed it and I've tumble dried it because, as we know, we should always wash and dry our fabrics before we use them. Treat them how you're going to treat the finished garments so that any shrinkage is accounted for, but particularly with denim, because as we know, denim does definitely shrink. So it may have been washed before I got it by the person that owned it before, however I've washed it again and tumbled it, so I know it's definitely done. So that's all shrinkage accounted for. 3 meters was too much, which is great because I've got enough. I've actually already cut out the top of the overalls, and I was going to make it so that it was like could be hooked onto the jeans, but then I thought no, I've got enough fabric left. I'm going to make a little skirt attached to the overall top and have a little denim pinafore, which I think will be lovely in the autumn winter for wearing with like cozy tights and things. So anyway, that is enough chat from me at this point. Can you tell I'm procrastinating because I am quite scared? I also haven't decided whether I'm going to do lapped seams with top stitching, because I don't know if that was a thing back in the late 40s, early 50s. I'll need to look that up, because if I can get away with not doing lapped seams, I might, because it's easier. And yeah, so stop procrastinating, women. Let's get on with it. So right off the bat, I wanted to change the shape of the pockets very slightly. Nothing wrong with the shape of the pockets as they are, I fancied a slightly different shape, so I'm just taking this little corner off before I start. I should have thought of this before, because I'd actually have liked to have added another bit on so that they were totally different shape, but it was too late to do that, so I just took that little corner off, and that's fine. There's my timer ready, we're already on the go. And then I'm going to clip notches out of the corner here, because this has all got to get turned under and stitched down. So in order to make it turn under nice and neatly, I'm just taking tiny little notches out of that corner so that it's got, the fabric doesn't get bulky under there. And then out of the other corner, because it's going the other way, I'm just going to clip little snips in there, so that's because that'll spread out when it gets turned under. And then we'll get started by turning that under. I started off pinning it, but then I decided that it would probably be better to baste it down. I thought that would actually, and then it's easier when you go to put it on the pocket. So I'm pressing and basting, and it's a much neater job that way than it would have been if I'd just tried to pin it. I also took the chance, because obviously I had 2 pockets, I had 4 bits to baste. I had obviously that side, the other side, and the other pocket. So what I did was I did each bit in a different colour of thread, because I'm going to do top stitching on the jeans and I can't decide what colour of top stitching thread I want to go with. Do I want sort of like the traditional yellowy gold, or do I want something different? So I did each one with a different coloured thread so that I could have a look and see what I liked. The yellow standing out, the blue standing out really well, but I don't know if it's what I want. That's the only actual top stitch thread I've got. Everything else is just normal thread. Quite like the red, but in the end, I actually decided to go for the yellow, the sort of more traditional yellow. And I'm pleased I did. I think it looks really nice, and it's just got that more traditional jeans look. So then we're going to top stitch around these pockets. First of all, the edge that doesn't get sewn down, and take the basting out of it. And then I'm going to stitch, I don't know what I'm doing there. Got myself, oh, that's what I'm doing. There's little tucks just inside the pockets that are covered over by the pockets instead of darts. There's just a little tuck in there. And then I'm doing the dart on the back and taking that in. Got all this sped up because I do it all the time. I show you it regularly. You don't need me to show you in depth, unless you particularly want me to show you in depth, then I will. So I've just managed to absolutely whack myself in the face with the tripod when I was trying to change the position. So that'll be interesting tomorrow if I've got a great big bruise in between my eyebrows. That's going to look nice. Anywho, apart from whacking myself in the face with the tripod, I've done pretty well today. I think I've managed 3 20-minute sessions. 3 20-minute sessions. I can't remember. I can't count anymore. Anyway, what I've managed to do is I've got the pockets both on and top stitched. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I went with the yellow top stitch thread in the end. There's little tucks inside that you can't see because it's covered by the pocket, just gives a little bit more shape. And I got the centre seam done, and on the back I got the 2 darts done and the centre seam done. So yeah, we're making jolly good progress. I'm going to stop though because it's already like 6:30 or after 6:30. I'm going for a swim and then I'm going to bed. So I shall see you tomorrow. Right, so following on from yesterday's tripod incident, I've actually managed to cut my forehead, just a tiny little cut. Don't know if you can see it. Excellent. Honestly, so clumsy, so clumsy. Anyway, today is zip day. The pattern actually has buttons, side buttons, and I put side buttons in the linen trousers, but I actually don't like the way it sits and balances out at my hips. I just don't. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I mean, I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of a side zip either. But I don't really want to faff about doing a fly, so we're going to do a side zip. So I'm waving the zip about, and now Albie's trying to catch it. So I've got a little placket to put behind the zip at the back so that it doesn't catch my skin when I'm doing it up, and yeah, we'll go from there. Oh, I'm actually probably too tired for putting in zips, but hey ho, let's do it anyway. So to keep bulk to a minimum, I just folded this little placket over and overlocked, that's the word I'm looking for, overlocked the raw edges. Then I had to put the jeans on my back to remember which side it was supposed to go, and then as usual I had to do the whole sorry, I'm very distracted because the cat is walking all over me as I'm trying to do this voiceover, and it's very distracting, Albia. Stop it. You're very cute, but you're very distracting. So yes, I had to do the whole reverse engineering thing of working out how I want it when it's finished and working my way backwards from there, because I was tired and my brain just was not functioning. And in actual fact, as we will come to discover later, it would have been better if I'd put the zip in first and kept the wee plackety bit to put on last, because that later on becomes a problem. But less said about that the better. At the moment, I finally got there, working my way backwards as to how I wanted it to finish up and then how I needed to get there so that I could put the zip in properly. So then, having changed over to the zipper foot, I did remember to do that and put my specs on. Very important things. I am going to put that side. So this, the side that goes at the back with placket underneath, butts up to the zip teeth. The other side will lap over. So this side butts up to the zip teeth. So I get the zipper foot right up. So I've got a little sandwich there with the placket and the zip in between, and I can feel the zip teeth underneath the placket and the zipper foot's going along. Once I get to the bit where the zipper handle thing is, I just put the needle down, press the foot up and move the thing out. What is that wee tag thing called at the top of the zip? Anyway, move that out the way so that it doesn't distort the line of stitching, and there we go, that's that neatly butted up to the teeth, and then I get the other side and I've got the whole process to do again. I have to once again work my way backwards because I can't seem to just work it out properly. I have to get where I want to finish and work my way backwards. So I'm pressing down the seam allowance, pressing that over because that's what's going to lap over the zipper teeth. So press that seam allowance down. Then we get the back bit that's got the zip attached to it, and we put that down. Then we work out how we're going to lap the other side, the front side, over that bit. I'm such a perfectionist, I have to give it another wee press. Sorry about that. And then somebody comes and talks to me and distracts me, and I have to think it all through again. So I put that down with the seam allowance pressed under, overlapping the zipper teeth, and pin down the side of the zipper teeth. So we've got another little sandwich with the zip in the middle, and then I'll take it back over to the sewing machine and sew down the other side of the zip teeth. Now, what I did wrong, and why I'm not going to show you all of it, is because I very cleverly managed to sew the placket down as well, so that even when you pull the zip down, you can't actually get into the jeans, because when I sewed the side seams and everything, and it wasn't till much later when I went to do the top stitching. Oh, Stuart also kicked to the tripod while I was doing time lapse, so you get my messy desk instead. Then I realised that I had actually sewn the trousers shut by sewing the placket down. So I'm just about to find that out when I take it over to the sewing machine to do the top stitching, and be very annoyed with myself. Very, very annoyed with myself. And have to, see there, I've worked it out, and now the unpicker comes out. And we're quick unpicking. And I got so frustrated, I don't actually come back on and talk to the camera at this point because I was so annoyed. Hello. Exciting things happening this morning. I have a new phone. I video on my phone because although I have a camera, I'm not going to continue to put you through that terrible audio as things would have it. What I'm telling you here is that I've got a new phone and a different microphone set up, and I'm hoping that there's not going to be any hiccups and snags, not realising that the microphone was not recording me properly and you can't actually really hear me. So I'm having a hiccup and snag as I'm saying. I'm hoping there's no hiccups and snags. So fantastic. Super duper. Anyway, what I was about to tell you there was that I had the side seams done and I was going to re-put in this zipper, but this time with the placket underneath folded back out the way and pinned down, so that I can sew the zip in and not sew the trousers closed, because I felt that would actually be much more useful to be able to actually open the trousers with the zip. Still can't believe I did that. Such a numpty. Anyway, that's what I'm telling you there with my very, very bad audio. And it took me about 3 days to get the audio sorted out before I could get back to talking properly on the camera. So anyway, yes, we're going to put the zipper foot back on, which for my sewing machine is a very, very easy process. It's just one lever that clips it off, and then you put the zipper foot back down on top of it and it clicks it back on. And then this is what I didn't show you last time, because I didn't think there was any point in showing you how I'd done something wrong. So enjoy the view through my hair, because I had set it up so that you could see it, and then put my great big noggin in the way. I'm doing really so professional. Anyway, I do a little bit at the bottom of the zip just to strengthen that, and then again I'm really just going by feel. I can feel the zipper teeth, so I'm going along the side of the zipper teeth with the seam allowance overlapped. And once I get up to the top, again repeating through my hair, I'm so sorry. Once I get up to the zipper tag bit that I still can't think of the name of, I'll just shift that out the way and finish off sewing that zipper in. And I hope this time we will have a properly functioning zipper that I am proud to show you, as opposed to what I'd done. before. So there, let's fold the little placket back over, and there we go. We have properly functioning zipper. Ta-da! A lapped zipper. That, my friends, is how we do a lapped zipper. Honestly, my brain sometimes, it's, I mean, I wish I could just blame the menopause, but my brain's always been pretty ditzy, so, you know, it's only just made it worse. But the combination of chronic illness and menopause, my brain is just absolutely mince. Anyway, I'm doing some top stitching. I'm top stitching the seams towards the back, and I just wanted to keep them down, and I also thought that a bit of yellow top stitching would look really nice, and it does. I'm really pleased I did that. It's a nice touch. I did on both side seams. I top stitched the seams towards the back to keep everything nice and neat, and also to keep that placket nice and neat at the bottom of the zip there, and it gives a really nice clean effect, and I'm pleased with it. So then we're on to the inside seams. Now what I've done with the front centre seam, I've pressed the seam allowance in one direction, and the back centre seam I've pressed the seam allowance in the opposite direction, so that they kind of nestle together perfectly and there's not too much bulk at one side. It spreads, oh, somebody else has kicked my tripod now. It spreads the bulk across that seam, so you've not got like one big chunky bit. When I'm doing the inside leg seams, I always start from the crotch and pin towards the hem, and likewise sew from the crotch towards the hem. So I always do it in two parts. I do one leg at a time. I just find that it gives a much cleaner effect. If you start at one hem and up and round to the other hem, you can end up with things being a bit squiffy off centre and not properly centred up. And then Fingers decided that she wanted some fussies because it was pouring with rain outside and she couldn't go out and play, and she was very cross, so she thought she'd come to me for some fussies. And I ended up speeding this up because she was there for so long. I could not persuade her that my ironing board was actually what I was using and wasn't actually there for her to rub her face all over and basically make herself at home on. But no amount of discussion from me was going to move things along, so we just had to have fussies. Lovely, lovely Fingers fussies. She's so cute. Look at her. We don't often get her in videos because she's normally out and about playing. It's normally Albia that we have. But today we have a little time with Fingers. Fingers McGraw. Wee rascal. She's called Fingers McGraw because she gets into everything. She's a little rascally cat. She's the one that's always up to mischief. You always know where Fingers is because there's mischief happening. So anyway, we're going to press the seams towards the back, make them nice and neat. I actually didn't bother top stitching the inside seams. I just left them pressed towards the back. I don't think they needed top stitching. They're not really. People tend not to look at your inside seams, I find, or if they do, then they're, to my opinion, they're far too close to me. And then I'm going to turn the hem. What I'm going to do at the hem, I'm just turning 1 centimetre and 1 centimetre, and I'm not even caring if it is the right length or not at this point, because I'm going to do like a jeans turn up. I'm going to cuff the bottom so that they've got a little turn up. So it really doesn't matter at this point if the hem's the right length or not. So I'm just turning it. Okay, so I had some lunch and a little lie down for an hour, and now I'm going to tackle this waistband, and I've decided no interfacing. I think that's the right decision. I may regret it, but at this point that is my decision, so we're going no interfacing. Let's hope it's okay. And then I did this in time lapse because you guys have seen me put on a waistband before, but tell me in the comments if you'd like me to do more in-depth actual sewing stuff, or I'm not really 100% sure what you're all here for. Are you here for like in-depth technical sewing content? Are you here for the chat? Are you here for just seeing me doing general craftiness? So let me know. And then once again, I don't know, I managed to get the mic to work for a little while and then it's away again. So what I'm telling you here is that I am very pleased with the finished waistband, and I can't decide whether to put 2 small buttons on or 1 big one. And what I ended up with in the end was 2 small buttons, because I thought that would be more comfortable than one big one. If you sit down and you've got one big button, that could be quite uncomfortable. And there we go, my darlings, the finished product. And I have to admit, I'm really quite delighted with them. They're super comfy. The waistband is perhaps a tad too wide, but that's okay. Look at me with my crop top on, eh? So I've tried it with a couple of different sweaters. My 40s rainbow sweater and my Olga blouse, both of which I've knit myself, obviously. And yeah, I'm really quite chuffed with the kind of vibe that it's giving. And then I thought, oh, do you know what? I think they'd also go really, really nice with last week's blouse. So I went and put last week's blouse on, and they do. Look at that. I am really chuffed. That's a really good look. I'm actually really quite delighted with it. So much so I had to do a little dance, which, you know, actually blimmin' hurt my knees. But, you know, and oh yes, I have to demonstrate to Stuart that they've got good range of movement, and that really hurt my knees. That was stupid. But yeah, I am so pleased with them. And yeah, what more can I say? And then again, we get another little visit from Fingers Cat, because the sun came out. We had to film this reveal jumping in and out of the showers. You'll notice the first part was done inside, because it's been one of those days where it's rained really heavily and then it's been sunny. So we've been popping in and out of the showers to get some reveal footage for you. Okay, right. I think I finally managed to find a microphone that's working and set up in such a way that you can hear me, hopefully. I might have to end up re-recording this, but hopefully you can hear me now. Excellent. So, little wrap up. Quite frankly, I don't know what I was so scared of. What was I so scared of? It was easy. I mean, the fact that I'm using 3-ounce denim, so it's really, really lightweight and thin, probably helped. Maybe a heavier weight denim would have been more tricky. And I think I might do myself some jeans with heavier weight denim for the winter, because this is very lightweight. They are super duper comfy. They're so comfy. They're actually a little touch on the too big side, but I'm happy with that because they're sitting lovely and they'll allow for a little bit of bloating, etc. Because let's face it, it's a fact of life. You are a woman, thus bloating. It is what it is. So yeah, so they're really comfy. I'm really happy with them. This is the second day that I'm wearing them because they're so comfy, and I'm quite delighted. And I'm really quite. That's 2 in a row that I'm really chuffed with. Anywho, I want to hear what you guys have been up to this week. What's bringing you joy this week? Have you had a success this week? Have you had a really good success? Has something gone well? Has something that you've tried for the first time gone well? Let me know, because I love hearing about that stuff. It makes me really happy. And beyond that, just have a good week. Just do stuff that you love and have the best week you possibly can. I hope that you and your loved ones are safe and well wherever you are. And I shall see you next time. Love from Liz.